Hello, welcome back. And the next step, we have to get rid of these unwanted beams. Remember the beams, we created beams just for placement of our handrail. Now, in this particular case, we want to explode the handrail, then delete the beams. So I'll come to macro here, then explode. I'll come here and pick on this macro for this handrail, right click and come to macro, then explode selected macros. I'll select on that and pick on that and explode the selected macro. I'll come here also, select on that, right click and come to explode selected macro. So that's it. So if I come here at the bottom end here and select on that beam, if I delete that beam, I will not lose my handrail. My handrail will remain in the same place because we have created a detachment. We have detached them from the beams by exploding the macro that created the handrail. Now, if I select on that and click OK, remember I have some bends here that we had created before. We can delete that, and we can select that and delete that. What we want is only what is required as that will be helpful and meaningful on top of on the platform here. Now, we want to create a connection between the cage ladder and the handrail here, so that our handrail will come all like this and create a connection, and here there will be an entry and the same exit. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bring this down by coming to a special move like that, and I'm going to just use a z-axis, change everything to 0, but I'm going to use a y-axis, and I'm going to feed in here too, and I want to just click move. It's going upward, but we don't intend to move upward, so let me prefix that by a negative sign, then click repeatedly and until we get to a position where we'll have a better connection between our handrail and this member. So I'll select on that and turn around like that. So what I'm going to do is to create an end plate between this member and this member. So let me create an end plate manually. So I'll come to edit, I'll come to points and pick on the points, and I'll pick that corner and this corner right here. So once I've done so, I'll come there and activate my point so that my points will be visible. So I'll go back and select the points right there. I'll select the points, press Control and select the points right there. So I'll right click and come to special copy here and pick on linear. And this time I'll go to y-axis. We'll be moving against the y-axis. So we have to prefix our dimension with the negative sign. So I'll just type in 106 and I'll go ahead and click copy. So we'll follow it down here, and we'll see we have our points in place. We have our points in place here. So if I turn it like that, you'll see this point and that point if I zoom it close. So I'll use these 4 points to create an end plate. I'll close that and come to steel and pick a plate. Then I'll start creating a contour plate right from that spot and come all the way to that spot and come to that spot and come to that spot, and I'll place it somewhere there, right there. That's it. So if you take a look on the thickness, you can see this is very thick, and we have to adjust that by double clicking on it. Then come here and we'll change this to 6 millimeter or 8 millimeter will work. Click OK, and that's it. So I will create a connection between this member and this member, and the assembly of the whole thing here. This and this will be assembly connected, bolted to this. So what I'm going to do, I want to cut this member to flush it with this plate, with that end plate. So I'll come here under edit, then pick on cut, pick by part, pick the part I want to cut, and the cutting part is that, and I'll retain my initial member, and that's it. So between these two, I'll create a weld between these two. And prior to that, let me first of all create the positions of the bolts, or the points that will help me create the bolts. So to do that is very simple. I'm going to pick on edit, then come to points here. I'll pick on dividing points. So I'll snap on top there and snap at the bottom end here to create a midpoint. So I have a midpoint somewhere there, but since have it somewhere there. So if I come back here again and create a midpoint between that midpoint and this edge, so I'll have a bolt there and a bolt somewhere here. So let me use the same point to create a midpoint on top there, and that is not visible. And what we can do is just to click on this and hide, so that we can, or press Control Alt D, so that we can be able to see this point here. So if I zoom out and come to dividing points, I'll be able to snap on that spot and snap on that spot to get another point. So I'll press Control D once again until I get to my initial draw mode, or display. So I'll come to steel, then come to bolts. I'll pick on the bolts right there, and I'm going to bolt this to this, bolt that to that, and right click, and I'll come here all the way to that end here and snap right there. And I have my bolts in place, but they're widely big, so that to an extent they can't fit in that small space. So I'm going to double click on this symbol of bolts and just left click and drag aside and come to position right here, and we want to adjust this. We want maybe make it -1 right there, and maybe give a space there, and by 1666 is between this point and that point, and we can get rid of that and feed in 10 millimeter and click OK. So we have that in place. And if you come to settings here, we can change that to 12 M12 and click OK, and that's OK. Double click on it once again, and if you come to position, because if you take a look, they're somehow off, not at the center. If I come to position and pick this as center, and that one will center everything in place. So still, our bolts tend to be widely big. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to maybe change that to M10. M10 will be okay, I think so. M10 will be extraordinarily small. So if I click on that and come back and double click on that, and come back to positions there, and try and give an adjustment maybe of 68 right there, and click OK, so that we move it slightly up so that we avoid collision. So that's okay. I'm okay with that. So I want to weld this to this. So once I've done so, I'll come to weld, and I'll weld this member to this member, this member or that member, and we've created assembly there. So if I select and right click and come to assembly here, if I come to assembly here and right click and come to show only selected, you can see we have that in place. But this side will be attached to, will be welded to the handrail. So what I'm going to do is very simple. I'm going to right click, come to show all, and that's where we are. So I'm going to select this, right click and come to assembly right here, select assembly, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch back to my global XYZ, then right click and come to special copy and give it a mirror. I want to mirror this to this section here. So I want to define my mirror line from that spot to this spot right here, and click OK. If I click run and switch back where I was, I'll be able to see I have created a connection here. So that's okay. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to offset it down here by a certain dimension. So I have to get the distances between here and here. I can as well select that, select assembly, then right click and come to special copy, and I'll take it down, special copy linear, I'll take it down by, I'll copy it down. So let's do that on the next presentation, or on our next part, because we are kindly trimming on time, 10 minutes, and that will be useful to us. Let's close that, and let's meet then on the next presentation.